Piękne autobusiki wycieczkowe, proszę bardzo, będziemy płynąć, będziemy jechać po całym mieście Boston i później będziemy nawet płynąć wodą, zobaczcie. Co zobaczymy później, to się okaże, ok? Jest pięknie. Jest piękna pogoda i będzie wszystko dobrze. Wszystko dobrze. Głowa do góry.
Thank you very much.
Okej, teraz jesteśmy z całą czwórką. Jest super wszystko, okej. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Where do you call home? Are you going on? Alright, welcome. You got 34.
Okej, wchodzimy na bord. Pięknie.
Remonty tam robią po drodze. Z 3 pasów się jeden pas.
Okej, patrzcie, mam okulary, że dobrze was widzę. Wszystko pod kontrolą. Jest dobrze. Zaczynamy wędrówkę po Bostonie. Zapraszam. Zapraszam.
Żeby ci nie wypadła, trzymaj.
Tak. Jeden autobusik już przed nami, wyjechał. Proszę bardzo. Jest pięknie.
Hello, welcome to Boston. I am a robot tour guide. I'm just going to review the safety instructions we heard. Do keep your cameras and... So, I am your robot, experimental prototype robot tour guide. Welcome to Boston Duck Tours. And mine, I was designated as super perfunctory, logically inductive, and surprisingly human-like Model 4000 by my inventor. Did you see what I just spelled? S-P-L-I-S. H. You can call me Splash. Hi, everybody.
Oh.
Hi. And this is Captain Sue. Give a friendly human greeting to Captain Sue. But we mustn't speak to the captain while I get my wireless mouse. Do you have a wireless mouse I could borrow by any chance? You left yours at home? Are you on vacation? That's the right frame of mind. I do not fault you. What about you? Do you have a wireless mouse? Are you on vacation? Okay. Oh, would you mind running home and grabbing your wireless mouse? We can wait about 40 seconds, okay? Yeah. All right. What about first class? The amenity kit next to the comb and the toothbrush. Is there a wireless mouse in there? No? Okay. We're going to have to use a hack given to me by my inventor called the audio double click, and it goes like this. When I say double click, if you all shout, quack, quack, it works just like a wireless mouse, okay? It's hard to believe, isn't it? So watch this. Everyone try it together, okay? Because teamwork makes the dream work. Double click! Oh, joy! The spark of the American Revolution came from here in Boston 250 years ago this summer with the March on Lexington and the Battle of Bunker Hill. Yep, the sparks from Boston. Fun. We're going to explore Boston through time and space on land and in the sea aboard this amphibious vessel called Dorchester Dot. You know what amphibious means, little one? No? Do you know what amphibious means? Your duck is amphibious right there. That's a beautiful duck you have. What does amphibious mean? Water and land. Yeah, it's both. Able to drive on land and go in the water. Hard to believe, but we're going to have fun. And first, so many firsts in Boston. I can't wait to share them all with you. The west, a vast estuary you see called the Back Bay. And there was all manner of living things in this water. That's why they called it shoal mud, living waters. There was shrimp and fish and crabs and scallops and lobster. What'd you have for dinner last night? No, there were no burgers swimming around in the water. No, they came for the seafood. Okay, all right. So, 400 years ago, there was just one person living here in this peninsula called Shulman, and his name was William Blackstone. He was a reverend from a failed colony down near today's Weymouth, Massachusetts, that just didn't work out. They said, there's not enough winning sports teams here in Massachusetts. Oriental Tea Company. Now, it was bought by that behemoth from the great state of Washington, Starbucks. But we all know America runs on what? Double click! That's right, we got more Dunkin' Donuts. 300. Did you have your Dunkin' today? You'll see. a visitor center if you wish to retrace everything I'm speaking of today. If I'm just, droning on and on like a robot tour guide, you can come walk the Boston Freedom Trail. And here on Boston Common, we added a sculpture in the 21st century. It evokes a photograph from 1964, the moment Martin Luther King learned he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace. He embraced his wife, Coretta, and I'll tell you the Boston connection. As young people, both Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott came to Boston to study. Martin studied theology at Boston University. He earned his doctorate here, which is why we call him the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And Coretta studied music at the Newman Conservatory. And as young people, they met here in Boston. They used to walk hand in hand through this public park, and they fell in love and formed a partnership here, which impacted our country. I took a tour of that theater a few years ago. Today, as it has been for nearly a century, it's cooled by blowing fans over ice cubes. Yep, they still blow fans over ice cubes to cool the Wang Theater. This is yet another of the college universities. This is New England Law of Boston, and opened in 1908 as the first school of law entirely and exclusively for women. We did this non-stop, 24 hours a day, 6 days a week a year, 6 days a week, 365 days a year, for a period of 35 years. To fill from Boston Common to where Fenway Park is. One house lot was filled each day. And look at the institutions we brought to this new neighborhood that we happen to name the Back Bay, for the old Bay of the estuary that used to be here. That is true. This is the main library. When this opened in around about 1895, a few years later, I guess it says 1898 right there. 1888, interesting. So it was founded in 1888, but they moved here, 1888, let's go with that. 1888, it was the largest lending library in the United States, free lending library, the Boston Public Library. We were the first to have branch libraries. We were the first to have a library system. You see the inscription on the corners. The library, the city of Boston, built by the people for the advancement of learning. Okay? Because the Puritans, they came with a charter signed by Charles I. In 1634, they purchased the original peninsula from Reverend William Blackstone. In 1635, they created a school. In a decade, that school here in Boston will celebrate its 400th anniversary as the oldest public school in the United States, Boston Latin School. There is the new Old South Meeting House. The old South Meeting House is in downtown Boston, and that's where Sam Adams and John Hancock launched the Boston Tea Party in December of 1773. Now this, behind the trees, you're going to see a beautiful Romanesque architecture. This is the Trinity Church in Boston. This moved here in 1877. This is the quintessential example of the Richardsonian Romanesque, and the reason I say that is because Henry Hobson Richardson designed that church. He won the commission for the Trinity Church, and it gave rise to a style of architecture that bears his name. Now, are you New Yorkers? I was manufactured in New Jersey. They're right there by the state prison in Rahway. You know it, right? Yeah. Okay, so the reason I ask is because New Yorkers know that their state house in Albany was also designed by Henry Hobson Richardson, and it's a beautiful rendition of this church. This has been declared one of the 10 most influential works of American architecture, the only church to make that list. And it gave rise to the style of architecture, the Richardsonian Romanesque. Admire that is the crown jewel of the Back Bay Project. This wonderful neighborhood for Boston's wealthy families, wealthy institutions. Now look down. Do you see a sculpture of a tortoise and a hare? That celebrates the fact that we have a storied foot race that finishes up here in Copley Square every year since 1897. Now, I'm not a math robot. If you add that all up, that'd be about 129. We've had 129 runnings of the Boston Marathon. The original first commercial public building of the Back Bay Project. Look at these windows. Tiffany opalescent glass windows, 16 depicting the life and death of Jesus of Nazareth, the largest collection of Tiffany windows to a single common theme found anywhere. This, I believe, is Newark brownstone, and you can see the folks from New Jersey don't wear well here in New England, especially the Yankees fans. Project of the Massachusetts Horticultural Society. This is rocks and gravel that were brought to the the edge of the original Shomba, which is up ahead. And they planted exotic trees. I see a redwood tree right there, which is not endemic to New England. It comes from the Pacific Northwest. But we planted a redwood tree here, and it thrives in our climate, which can be similar to northern California. And there, do we got a 14-year-old kid aboard the Duck? Any 14-year-olds? There we go, I knew it. All right, 14-year-old. Boston boys, 14 years old. They gathered together in Boston Common. They altered the rules to the game of rugby. You ever like to change things up and tell your friends, try this way, try that way? You like to kind of mix it up. It's the first free botanical garden in the United States. It was built 2 centuries after Boston Common became our first park. Do you see the statue right there? Same sculptor who gave us the tortoise and the hare. There's humans getting their pictures taken. There's Mrs. Mallard. There's Jag, Pack, Mag, Nag, Black, Black, Tack, Black. Yes, right there. See right there, the glinting bronze? And yes, that is a true story. A Boston police officer stopped, but I think the fella sneezed, and he poured too much manganese into some of the glass formula. And his colleague said, Gesundheit. He said, Duncan, he's so embarrassed he did not extract the excess manganese. And he shipped the windows off to Boston. They were installed 4 or 5 months later under the sun. The excess manganese oxidized. A mistake you will see throughout the mansions of Beacon Hill. You'll see purple windows. Today, we don't consider that 200-year-old error a mistake. We consider it a badge of honor to have purple windows on your mansion in Beacon Hill. Here is, there's the fella where she said no, right? Well, he ran off from Beacon Hill to Washington, D.C. He wound up being elected the first Catholic president of the United States, John Kennedy. He was from Beacon Hill right here. Here is the second in American history, the second all-free African-American unit in the Union Army. If you know the movie Glory, you know the story of the Massachusetts 54th. She just said 2/3 of those soldiers did not return from the battlefield. They remain today in a common grave where they fell on the coast of South Carolina. Now this is a statue of my hero, Mary Dyer. And you say, why Splish? Because she could text in church 3.5 centuries ago like she had some kind of superpower? No. You see, the Puritans, we got to talk about dinner. Didn't you say you like dinosaurs? We got a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah, right there. This is the, yeah, wait a minute. Yankees fan, world champions, 1903, 1912, 1915, 1916, 1918. We had a winning team. Who am I talking about? Every year there's a pitcher award given to the best pitcher. It's the one, Cy Young, Cyclone Young. Yep, you got that right. Who won that first World Series ever? 1903, kiddo with the... Yay! All right, now let's review the safety features of this duck on water. We have a snug.
Teraz będziemy płynąć.